If you're even remotely interested in personal finance on YouTube, you've probably seen clips from a show called Financial Audit, where the host, Caleb Hammer, drills people about their financial decisions and gives them recommendations for what to change about their money. It's pretty entertaining. Shout out to Caleb for the show and his name. But just this year, Caleb launched his very own budgeting app. He used to go by the name Simpler Budget, now known as DollarWise. So in this video, I'll give you an overview of the app, my first impression of the setup and the tools that it offers, and overall how I like it compared with other budget apps, of which I have already reviewed quite a few. So let's jump in. And to Caleb's team, if you're watching this, I'm going to tell you exactly what I think would be nice to see in this app. Right off the bat, it's pretty easy to set up. It does ask you if you want to link your bank account, which when you tap it, it gives you 3 membership options. The first one to the left is free. This includes budget tracking, spending analysis, and transaction tracking. The next step up is called DollarWise Budget. It includes everything in the free version as well as community access and bank connectivity. That way your transactions can be automatically dumped right into your budget. Last upgrade is called DollarWise Central and includes everything in DollarWise Budget, plus gives you course content access, monthly challenges, and exclusive bonus content. The first thing I noticed is that DollarWise is putting a lot of emphasis on community and learning, which props to them. I think that they know that people are more likely to stick with their budget if they have accountability with other members and have ways to actually learn more about money through monthly challenges and having a personal finance course. What makes me hesitant is the cost. Now let me explain. If we tap upgrade, DollarWise Budget, the middle tier, costs $14.99 per month if you go with the monthly payment plan. That's what I went with to check this out, and they do have a free trial period. They do have a quarterly option, which is $39.99, which saves you like $20 over the course of the year. And they have an annual membership option for $89.99, which saves you $90 over the course of the year. Honestly, those costs aren't that bad. They're pretty similar compared with other budgeting apps that offer similar tools. I will say most others don't have built-in community access as part of the membership, so that's cool. What surprised me more is the cost of DollarWise Central. No monthly cost, just quarterly or annual. The quarterly option is $149.99, so about $600 total for the year, and the annual option costs $499, so about $100 savings. It seems pretty steep when it appears that the majority of the increase in cost is because of the course. If you're part of Caleb's team, just know that I don't have a problem with a valuable course being expensive, but that price is pretty tough to swallow when it's a subscription model. Maybe you guys just have to be more clear about what's actually offered when people look at the membership levels. All right, that's it on price. Let's make a budget. Okay, so the first thing you're gonna see when you get through the sign up process is overview. Now at the moment, it's not gonna show you anything because you haven't set up your budget yet. So let's make the budget and then we'll jump back here later. At the bottom, we have 5 tabs: overview, budgets, activity, which is like your transactions, chat, which is your community access, and profile, which is basically just your settings. We're going to tap on budget and then create a budget. Now it's going to have you add categories, and it's already got a ton of categories to choose from, making it way easier to create your first budget if you're not a budget inclined person. Just shuffle through these and add the categories that apply to your situation. Like for me, first one I see is car and auto. We normally put $150 in our car fund every month, so that's what I'll do here. $150, save. It's as easy as that. It also has a way to add custom categories if there's something that's kind of out of the ordinary that you want to add into your budget. Now I'm going to speedily add the rest of the categories I want to add in. All right, we got all our categories in. At the top, it shows that we have $3,700 left to spend, and it has a progress bar showing we've spent $0 and budgeted $3,700. Now, one thing I noticed while creating categories is that there's not like a savings category. I don't know, I'm not really sure how they intend for you to keep track of savings through the app. Just something to think about. Okay, now that we've created the budget, let's go to the activity tab, which is where our transactions will come in if we've paid for an upgraded membership and have linked our bank accounts. Now I do have the upgraded membership, I just haven't linked my bank account yet because I want to show you a couple things. Regardless of whether you have the upgraded membership or not, you can add transactions manually. So if you're using the free version, this is how you're going to take care of all your transactions. But it's super easy to add transactions. You just tap add transaction. Automatically it's on expense here at the top. Put in description, let's say mortgage. The amount is $1,630. The category goes under mortgage, and the date was August 1st. Let's tap save. Now we've got our first transaction in our activities tab. Let's add another one. Yesterday we just hit up this new donut place called Parlor Donuts, which was really good. We're gonna put in Parlor. We spent $5. Category is dining and drinks, and we'll put this in as August 14th. Save. Now the more transactions you add, the more you'll see your total number go down in the budgets tab. when you jump over here, you'll see progress bars on each category showing how much we've spent in each one thus far. Then you can see the amount that you've spent at the top as well as how much is left. Pretty normal stuff overall. Now here's one of my major problems with the app and something that I think the team can update. If I go to activity and add a transaction, let's say we made a donation to our church for $500. So we'll put it in church, 500. Category we're going to put under donations, and we'll tap save. Now it's under our transactions. But here's the problem. If we go back to our budgets, it shows that we still have the exact same amount left in our budget, $2,065. Now you're thinking, that's not right. That should update based on the $500 that we just gave away. And the reason is because we never added donations into our budget. To the DollarWise team, I think the easiest way to resolve this, in my opinion, is by not allowing people to associate transactions with categories that they have not added to their budget. It says that I've spent $1,635 regardless of whether I have this donation in the activity tab or not. But if I go to my overview tab, it actually does show how much money I've spent, and that's $2,135. That's my real spending, which is equal to the $1,635 in my budgets tab plus the $500 donation. Now it does work if I add the donations category later. Add donations, we'll put $500 into it, save. And now my budget updates and shows that I have spent $2,135. But what if I didn't notice that category wasn't in my budget? I just wouldn't get an accurate view of what my spending was if I'm only looking at my budget, which I think is where most people are probably going to be looking. Having said that, I think the app would be a whole lot better if when you went to the activity tab and you were adding a transaction for a category that doesn't exist in your budget yet, if you can actually add the category from this transaction tab. So if I'm adding in a donation but it doesn't show a donation category, I can just add it from right here. Then everything updates properly and you don't get a misunderstanding of how much you've actually spent. It's one of my biggest beefs with this app thus far, because if you're not careful, your budget can get messy pretty quick. Did you know that I have 5 debt payoff trackers that you can have for free? I've got one for paying off your credit cards, one for student loans, one for car loans, one for your house, and a general one that you can use to fill in for whatever other debt that you have, like a 401k loan, a HELOC, a personal loan, whatever. This one behind me is for home payoff, and we are literally halfway through exactly right now. Each tracker has 50 to 200 blocks to fill in as you pay off your balance. And you can have these totally free by clicking the link below and putting in your email address. They're a great way to keep up the momentum for paying off your debt as quickly as possible. Check out the link below and back to the video. Now, if you've upgraded your membership so that DollarWise automatically imports transactions from your bank, you might hit some snags. I added my bank account and a few things happened. One, it took all my positive cash flow and counted it as income in the overview tab. So if we go to overview under cash flow, it shows that our income is $6,587 total. But if I go to activity and look at my August transactions, a couple of them are direct deposits, but about half of that $6,500 so far is just transfers between bank accounts. Like these 2 transactions up here, we see a transfer out and a transfer in. This is literally just transfer between my savings account and checking account. And even though it's designated as a transfer into my savings account, it still counts it as income. In this particular case, it doesn't make that much of a difference because these 2 transactions offset each other in the income versus expenses. But if I only had one of these accounts set up, it might artificially look like I have more income to spend than I do. That can be a little dangerous if I think that I have an extra $1,700 to spend that I didn't earn this month. Now I haven't really found a way to rectify that outside of just deleting a transfer, which I don't really want to do. You can set up a rule to have those transfers ignored, but there isn't a way for me to just go into each transfer and tap ignore. Number 2, DollarWise does an okay job of connecting transactions with categories, but you have to have those categories in your budget for it to accurately count them. As I scroll through these transactions, I see some categories that aren't included in my budget because I didn't add them. Like this one at the top for Amazon Prime, they put this in services, which I don't have that category in my budget. And this one at the top, which it put into government. Again, I don't have this category in my budget. Now, when I go to my budget, it shows that I've spent $5,498 thus far. But when I go to my overview, it shows that I've spent, under spending, $6,918. Again, this is because in my overview, it's showing the amount that I've actually spent versus in the budget, it's showing the amount that I spent in the categories that I've set up. In my opinion, the categories have to match between the budget and the activity tab if you want an accurate view of your finances. Number 3, some transactions will be associated with the wrong categories. The best advice I have for you regarding this is to go to your profile tab and create rules so that DollarWise actually categorizes transactions the way that you want it to categorize them if it chose incorrectly. That's okay. I know a ton of budget apps that have tried to handle it this way. Now, one thing I think is a little weird about the categories is there's no place to add income into your budget. If you go to the activities tab, you can add income, and I've done it right here, but it doesn't show up anywhere under the budget tab, which I personally think is helpful to see. I want to see how much I plan to make this month and how it compares to the amount that I plan to spend, because I can add all the categories I could ever want to my budget, but that doesn't mean I'll have enough income to cover said categories. Hence the desire to see planned income. Having said that, I can see how my actual spending compares to my actual income in the overview tab, and that really is very helpful, but I'd really like to see income added to the budgets tab, even if it's separated as like income versus expenses. Okay, we've jumped around in overview a little bit, but I haven't talked about much in it. This is actually one of my favorite tabs in the app. It actually provides a lot of helpful information. At the top, you can see how much money you have left to spend out of your budgeted amount. Looks like things are not looking good based on the current budget. It also gives you a snapshot of your top categories and how much money you have left in each. So dining, I still have $94 left. Might have to hit up Parlor Donuts again. If we go down, it'll show your cash flow with a graph of your income versus your expenses and how much you're positive or negative. It shows your overall spending and how it compares to previous months. It shows your top categories by tracked transactions, shows your accounts, and it shows your most recent transactions. All very useful for quickly understanding where you're at during the month with your finances. The 4th tab at the bottom is called Chat. If you have the DollarWise budget plan or above, you get this feature, which is essentially community access. Here you can scroll through and comment on other people's posts, or you can post your own comments or questions. Now, when I initially signed up, I thought that community access was going to be more motivation based, like people posting their wins, helping encourage people in their journeys. I have not posted and commented yet, but I have scrolled through a ton of these, and it seems like the majority of this tab is all about technical questions, issues that people are having with connecting bank accounts, rules not updating, not so much the motivational community support for paying off debt, investing, and successfully budgeting that I thought would be there when I signed up. Scrolling through that does make me wonder about some of these issues that people are having. Last tab is profile. This is where your settings are. You can add accounts, modify your membership level, and you can manage your rules, which is where you can make your DollarWise budget work better for you. So if you go to activity and find a transaction that is associated with the wrong category, here's where you can tell it to change future transaction categories and say if the description is Amazon Prime, make that go into your entertainment category instead of services. Then tap save. Overall, props to Caleb's team for putting together a budgeting app. I can only imagine that comes with a lot of technical challenges. And I think it's cool that they're trying to make something that can help motivate people to change their financial lives and actually stick to a budget. But at the moment, I think there are a lot of quirks to be worked out to make it functional for the everyday non-nerd budgeter. I'm a major money nerd. I can figure out workarounds for the issues that I encountered in the first couple times of using the app, but I'm guessing most people aren't super nerdy when it comes to budgeting and probably not as likely to give it chances before they give up if they hit some snags. Having said that, if you're looking for a budgeting app, sometimes this seems like it still needs some more testing. It's got some promise. It just has some quirks to work out. Honestly, if you wanted to use DollarWise, I wouldn't go with an annual subscription. I'd first try it on a monthly basis, or even just using the free version and adding your transactions yourself. Then you won't be in $90 before you decide that this app just isn't gonna work for you. Give it a try and set up your budget. See if it works for you. And to Caleb's team, keep it up. Push out those updates. I think it needs some work to make this truly functional. And I think that there's a lot of potential for adding budgeting tools that would make it a really good app, like showing more detailed reports or creating sinking funds. I love sinking funds. It's like one of the most useful budgeting tools for me and my wife as we save for literally almost anything. Yeah, those are my initial thoughts. Hit me up if you want more suggestions. There you go. That is Caleb Hammer's DollarWise Budgeting app. If you like content like this, subscribe here. Go down below if you want to get my free debt trackers, and watch this video next.